Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Prospects Live. It is your host, your friend, your boy, Drew Wheeler, here with you again for another wonderful interview, this time with the Kansas City Royals' AJ Causey. Perhaps more importantly, though, to me at least, Tennessee Volunteer alumni, AJ Causey. AJ, it's such a pleasure to have you here, sir. How are you?
Great, Harry.
Well, it's especially nice for you to join us because I know that you're very busy. Got some games this weekend you probably should be preparing for, but always a kind guy. Going to carve out some time for us at Prospects Live, and we really appreciate that a lot. Uh, AJ, I have a question that I like to ask people just to get them in the mood for the interview. What are your top three most used emojis?
Send my wife the white heart a lot.
Yeah,
The crying laugh is probably my second most.
hmm
And then
I do have a
probably
question about the crying heart. Well, I get a lot of guff because I use the crying heart that's the straight up and down one, not the one turned to the side. I'm curious which one you use.
I use the straight up and down one.
This is just another nail in Nate's coffin. I'm telling you, Nate made me feel like an old man. He was like, "Use the old man crying laughing face." I said, "I think you're the one using the weird one." So I'm glad to hear that it's a Nate thing, not a me thing. I appreciate that a lot. And the white heart for your wife is sweet. I like that. That's very nice.
Yeah.
AJ, can we talk about the development of your pitching style? I'll never forget the first time that I watched you pitch. I remember thinking, I've seen some sidearm guys before, some sub guys, but never one that the thing that came to mind was like a whip. It almost looks like your arm is a whip in a way, like a bull
hmm
whip. I'm curious, what's your first memory of that style and how it really got to just work for you? Like, I can't imagine that's a natural motion.
It probably started in wiffle ball, honestly, because that's when I started throwing sidearm when I was like 10 or 11 or whatever. Was playing my brothers in wiffle ball, and my coach came up to me and was like, "Hey, I think you should try to throw sidearm." So I was pretty much just throwing the same way I'd thrown it in wiffle ball.
Okay, that's
So
pretty
yeah.
awesome. And I mean, it's effective. It's certainly a
hmm
strange look. People don't see it every day for sure.
Yeah.
Curious, you pitched 2 seasons at Jacksonville State and then transferred to Tennessee. What was it about the Tennessee program that really made Rocky Top home sweet home?
It really came down to the coaches. Fell in love with Frank, fell in love with Q, fell in love with V, and I was just like the development there was better than anywhere else I'd like could have gone. So I was like, yeah, it was a no-brainer.
Absolutely. You talked about Frank and Q. You talked about Tony V. I'm curious. Can you tell us that your favorite thing? What your favorite thing about Tony V is that people would never know about him? It'd have to be one of you guys in the locker room with him to know about Tony V.
I was gonna say like his energy and his like almost like he acts like one of his players, but I feel like everyone knows that from the way he portrays himself. Um, just how he is in the meetings, like he really he's really like that all the time, and it's so much fun to be a part of.
I can't imagine.
Like, there's
I can't
never like,
imagine.
I mean, there's like those serious moments, but like a lot of the time, it's like basically like Drew was up there leading the team or some, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same kind of energy, same like he just loves it. Yeah, it was really fun.
I I love that. And then how quickly, like we said, 2 seasons away from away from the team, excuse me, and then you transferred over. How quickly did you kind of get ingratiated into that culture that they built at Tennessee?
Really quickly, the team, the returners did a really good job of like welcoming everyone in and like making sure everyone was a part of everything. They did a really good job of that. I was not expecting that, especially from a program with like the caliber of Tennessee.
Absolutely, I think that's awesome, man. Glad to hear it that it's a family atmosphere from the outside in and the inside out. That's really awesome.
Mhm.
Uh, Talking a little bit more about Tennessee, what was the biggest thing that development, the Tennessee development specifically for pitching, added to your game that prepared you most for pro ball?
The biggest way I developed at Tennessee was probably my mental game. So like brushing things off, Q or V was huge on something doesn't go right if you catch a bad break next task. And then I worked with the mental coach at Tennessee and was frank about stuff. And like, yeah, that was definitely, I had like no mental game before that. And when I left like Tennessee, I felt like my mental game was like solid. So
That's
yeah, that's
amazing. I'm glad to hear that they're taking care of you guys mentally because
mhm.
that's such a big part of the game that really doesn't
Yes.
get enough discussion is that you are very much a human being who is dealing
Hmm.
with successes and failures in an extremely public forum. And I struggle with mental health myself, and to know that that kind of scrutiny is such an active thing, it's harrowing unless you have a good grip on what's going on. And man, I'm really glad to hear that your mental health has gotten so much better, and I'm happy for that. So,
Yeah.
take me back to last summer, Omaha. Did you guys ever at any point feel like an underdog by any chance, or was it all confidence the whole time?
Yeah. I mean, that was kind of the beauty of Tony, just the way he could mastermind any situation to like be at his advantage. He used to talk about Max Scherzer was the same way. And so he was like, well, we're the number one seed. The number one seed never wins. So we're playing with house money at this point. And so that was literally our mindset going into it. Like, we're the underdog because we're not supposed to win because we're the freaking one seed.
I love that.
And yeah,
Oh,
that
I
was the
love that.
mindset going the whole way.
I love to hear that. And masterminding every situation is something I think we can all take from Tony V. You can
Yeah.
always be on the upside if you can find the way to be. All right. So last summer we talked about Omaha, obviously championship, an amazing thing, and thank you for your part in that. I appreciate that a lot. Last July though, what was draft week like for you behind the scenes? Was it like a lot of family, or a lot of like refreshing your phone nonstop, or like you're trying to stay distracted, or maybe a little bit all of it?
There's probably definitely a little bit of all of it. A lot of family time, like had some friends in town. But yeah, talking to teams. I was I tried to stay distracted. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, that's probably
I
mostly
understand.
it.
I understand. So you were a college arm with
Hmm.
Omaha innings, a sharp mix, an unorthodox look. Did you feel secure, I guess, in yourself, thinking that you'd shown enough heading into the draft process, or were you nervous about how teams might like evaluate you?
I was pretty confident because I
Yeah,
mean I transferred to Tennessee to do what I did, and yeah.
yeah. That's got to feel good knowing that kind of
Hmm.
you can check that box off. Okay, that's achieved that. That looks good. Okay. Uh, so had you heard much from Kansas City, or was that a bit of a surprise for you? What
It
was it like when
actually
that call
was
came
a
in?
bit of surprise. I hadn't
Really?
heard a ton from Kansas City, and then
Oh.
it was pretty cool because we just gone to New York for the medical evaluation of the draft combine part.
Mhm.
And when we were out there, they took us to the MLB shop, and I got a jersey of our FCA chaplain, Luke Kochaver. And so
Yeah.
I had it in my room. And when my agent called me, hey, they're thinking about taking you to this pick, and then they take me, I go and put it on. We're like, "Oh." It was really cool.
What are the odds that you would have Hochaver's jersey in that exact instance?
Yeah, I don't know, but it
Dude,
was awesome. I wore it the rest of the day.
I love that. That's such a cool story. Thank you for telling me that. That's
Of course.
very, very cool. Okay. So, what's been the biggest adjustment for you in year one? Is it the schedule, the hitters, or just like life on the road?
Um, I guess it's just like adjusting to the different lifestyle, but to me, it's nice because it's like 100% baseball.
Yeah.
Like at school, there's so many other things you have to juggle. Here it's literally like games at 6:30, get to the field at 2 or 1. And yeah, so that's not the hardest part. The hardest part is probably like I guess adjusting to the professionalism of everything.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, and then obviously you have to get better and stuff like that.
Of course. Of course. You mentioned your wife just a moment ago. How important is it to have a supportive partner? You're away quite a bit, and
Mhm.
it's difficult. Like that's difficult for any relationship, let alone one of the closest person to person relationships we have on earth. Like what's the value of having such a supportive partner?
It's very it's extremely valuable. Like the way she supports me helps me keeps going and like gives me like a new fire. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Uh,
I owe the world.
Shout out Mrs. Causey. That's important at home. Uh, So you mentioned him a minute ago. We got to bring him up again. Once again, you can't escape Drew Beam. This guy follows you everywhere, I'm pretty sure. So, travel ball teammates, if I read correctly, in high school, together in Knoxville, and now again you're in Davenport together with Quad Cities. What's it like having such a longtime teammate with you? And is that something that you razz each other about at all?
Yeah, we definitely like. He always says I followed him because he went to Tennessee first. So I'm like, well, okay, like that's where I wanted to go. If I followed you there, I followed you there. But as far as here, it's honestly kind of nice because you come in and you don't really know anyone unless you've played
Yeah.
summer ball with these guys or school ball with these guys. And then like for it to be Drew is pretty cool just because like we played together since we were like 12 and then until high school and then yeah, so it was pretty cool. And I mean he's my road roommate too, so it's pretty nice. I'm not gonna lie.
I can't imagine. You
Yeah.
gotta give him a little grace. This is coming from a place of experience. Guys named Drew, we can be difficult sometimes. We can be difficult. We're not always the best roommates, but man, we're smart and we mean well and we love with our whole heart. So keep that in mind. But thank you for putting up with Drew for so long as well. AJ, you're in a system now that's deep in pitching development. I'm curious,
Mhm.
what's something that the Royals have emphasized with you that's making or has made a real impact in the way you pitch?
Sure. They told me a lot to like experiment and we're trying to like do a couple of different pitches
Hmm.
and it's really I really like it. Like I'd like tried for a long time to figure out this one pitch at
Hmm.
JSU, then at Tennessee, and it was just not working. And then for some reason, when I got here, it just kind of clicked, and then, like I'm like starting to experiment with it, and so, yeah, it's starting to work, and it's pretty cool.
Um, that's awesome. I don't know if that's something you can share, but I mean, you mentioned new pitches. You mentioned this pitch kind of working for you now. I
hmm
was curious, like, how's your pitch mix evolved this year?
So I got like I got this new. So what I had the sinker, the changeup, and the big sweeper. And
Right.
then working with it, they were like, "Okay, we want you to try and add this, like, cutter," because, the guys like Cishek, the guys like O'Day, they always had a four
Hmm.
seam. I had tried to throw a four
Right.
seam, and it would not go straight. It would always I would get maybe a little bit more lift, but always go way arm side, like,
Okay.
had a lot of run. So we're gonna try and throw a cutter. Try to throw it all off season, it's just not really working. I try and throw it in spring training, it's just not really working. And then I find out, like I look at the Justin Lawrence videos because I look at him a lot. And he throws just, like, harder he throws this shorter slider, so I try to throw that, and it, like, actually kinda works, it's like a shorter slider. And then so I throw that for a little bit at the beginning of the season, and then my pitching coach here, Morty, he's like, "Hey, try to throw the cutter with that short slider grip and kind of just try to throw it hard." I throw it hard and kinda, like it's, like, harder, and it's, like, a lot shorter. I'm like, "That's kinda
Yeah.
what we're looking for." So, that's probably been the biggest improvement in my game, my arsenal this year is, like, that shorter slider, and the cutter. We're still trying to figure out how to throw a ball straight, but
Eh,
yeah.
it'll come. I mean, this is something you're working on new. We gotta give you
Uh-huh.
time. We gotta give him time, guys. We gotta give him time. That's awesome. Love to hear that, and thanks for the insight. Super excited to see what that cutter looks like coming forward, especially with
Mhm.
like you said, the grip, and that's going to be an interesting little pitch to see in the mix. And I like the logic too, like you said, Sishek and J Law, like these guys throw similar to you, and so kind of
Mhm.
taking what works for them and just little tweaks. I think that's awesome. This
Yeah.
season, it's not not like you're needing a new pitch. Done pretty well. Struck out 26% of batters thus far, getting a ton of swinging strikes, a lot of called strikes, a lot of whiffs on your stuff, and four saves. I was hyped to see that. Four saves for you this year. I guess my question there is, what's late inning work feel like? Is that something that you're kind of like flourishing in, or is there a whole new side of nerves to it, or what?
It's kinda fun. So I haven't done it since, like, my freshman year at JSU.
Right.
I was the closer there, and then I started my sophomore year, and then I, like, started part of Tennessee, and then I was, like, that long relief, like, second inning guy or whatever. And so when I got drafted and went to Kansas City, they're like, "Hey, we think we want you to be a reliever," kinda like, these other, like, C-shape, O'Day kind of arms. I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I'll do what they did. I'd love to pitch in the big leagues for 10 years." So
All
I
day.
was like Yeah, I'll do that all day. So I kind of like just like was doing it right away.
Yeah.
And it's like it is different, but it's fun because you just come in, especially like in those situations where like I'm coming in a lot of tied games too. And
Mhm.
like adrenaline's way higher. Um, it's really fun to pitch in those situations.
I love that. I'm glad that it's something you're taking to, man, and that it's something that
Mhm.
you're itching to get in on those high leverage and the like you said, the high stress, high pressure. That's awesome. That's where
Yeah.
diamonds are made, my boy. That's where diamonds are made. So I'm excited to hear it. So Royals dev, obviously pro development is something that the common pleb like me can't even comprehend. Uh, what are the data sessions like? What are the statistics and feedback, like the metrics that you're looking to kind of track or gauge what you're doing this year and adjust from that?
For me, I guess it's probably all focused around, I guess, pitch development. So like that
Mhm.
cutter, that slider, or the four seam, it's all focused on that when I'm talking about analytically. Um, and for me, I look at like two things. I look at the horizontal movement and then the vertical movement. So
Yeah.
like trying to get that pitch as close to like 5-0 or whatever,
Mhm.
stuff like that.
I think that makes sense, honestly, with your slot and with your delivery specifically. The movement and the deception is just going to kind of add to the the unhittability of any pitch at any given point,
Yeah,
right? Just the more
yeah.
it moves, the more it's just again a whip. I love
Mhm.
watching you pitch. That's how it goes. So AJ, I don't want to take up a whole lot more of your time, man, but I did have some quick hitters, some this or that. Maybe we'll let some fans at home get to know you beyond the game. Is that cool?
Yeah,
All right, cool. All right, you're going out with the boys. Are you going to sing karaoke or ride the mechanical bull?
I'm riding the bull.
Okay, why?
Yeah, I don't want to sing in front of a lot of people.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. All right, trickiest guy that you've faced thus far as a pro.
Oh, say Spark. Can I say Burke?
Yeah, yeah. You can say whatever you
I'll say
want.
Burke. I went and ate breakfast with him yesterday, so I'll say Burke.
Okay, there you go. That's awesome. Glad to hear you guys are staying in touch. That's dope. All right, here you go. Would you rather get a tray from Cookout or get the Taco Bell in Cumberland?
Ooh.
I
See, it's
know.
funny
I'm
for me
sorry.
because when I go to the cookout and I get the tray, I get the 4 chicken quesadillas with the
Oh my
cookout sauce.
gosh, that's
So I might as well go
insanity.
to Taco Bell at that point.
4 cases. Oh my gosh. Okay. Uh, that's a new move. I gotta add that to the repertoire. Call it the Causey. That's amazing. 4 quesadillas. You took me completely off my game with that. All right, bro. Let me get focused again. Batman or Spider Man?
Ooh.
I know.
See, the Christian Bale Batman is like one of the greatest trilogies, but the my favorite movie ever is the Spider-Man No Way Home when they like
Oh,
brought it all together.
oh yeah.
So
It's tough, bro.
I gotta go with Spider-Man just because of that.
I like that. Spider Man is the everyman. He could be anybody. Anybody
Hmm.
could be Spider Man with a good heart and superpowers, whatever. All right, AJ, your favorite board game and why?
Chess.
Mm,
Just got into it. I've been playing my brother and teammates a lot. It's kind of funny how many pro baseball players like playing chess. It's yeah.
I get it. It's a mental thing, and you guys need to stay
Hmm.
fresh. I get that. What's your favorite chess piece to use to
Chess
operate with?
piece, Queen and Knight.
Mm, I struggle with my knights. I struggle with knights. So I gotta get with you. Got to get me up on the knights. All right. Which Tennessee teammate was the best hype man and why?
Teammate. I was gonna say Tony Vitello.
Okay.
Um, Tony Vitello or Xander Seacrest.
I could see Xander being a good hype man. I could believe
Yeah,
that. I could believe that. All right, man. Cruise Farm ice cream or a monster cookie from Insomnia?
I'm going with the ice cream.
Okay. Would you rather have a funny actor in a drama movie or a serious actor in a comedy?
Funny actor in the drama movie.
Okay. Just to lighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think the Kind of
Yeah, I
like
feel it.
watching Ryan Reynolds in like most of his movies.
That's actually a good point. All right, let's imagine that you have a new puppy. Which teammate for the Bandits right now would you most trust to babysit this new puppy?
Zachary
I'm worried.
Collier.
Okay, why Zach?
He's probably the most. He's like the loudest guy on the team, but I feel like he would care the most about the puppy. Hey,
Shout out
actually, no,
Zach.
no. I'm changing that. Tommy
Okay.
Molsky, my throwing partner,
Okay.
loves dogs more than anyone I've ever seen.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, shout out to him as well then.
Shout
All
out
right, man.
Tommy.
Shout out Tommy. Peanut butter and jelly or peanut butter and chocolate?
Peanut butter and chocolate. Big fan of peanut butter and Nutella.
Hey, I can't beat it. I'm a big fan. Pre-game playlist, hype or chill?
Hype.
Hype. Okay, so give me an idea of what's on the pregame playlist for you.
So I got like my walk up songs like Count 'em by Brandon Lake. Songs like
Okay.
that. I got Let It Rain on there by KB. It's a lot of KB, Brandon Lake. Um that's probably the majority of the playlist is KB, Brandon Lake.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, got to pick one: mustache, fur coat, or daddy hat.
I'm going fur coat.
Okay, and fur coat is pretty. I mean, that's the drip, insane drip on the fur
Yeah.
coat. All right. So if it wasn't the fur coat, if you had to pick mustache or daddy hat, what would you pick?
Well, then I'm going mustache. I'm going Kirby's mustache at that point.
Kirby had an insane mustache. Let's say if you had to choose the daddy hat, what would you say?
I'd be okay with that.
Well, if you insist, I don't normally do these kinds of things, but if you insist, that's fine. Uh, all right, final question I got for you, AJ. The quick ones: pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes, I like it. I'm a fan of
My
it.
boy, my boy. That's exactly what I'm talking about. You've got a whole lot of innings ahead of you. Still a very young man, but yet I know Tennessee fans like myself. We look at you as part of history. Like you helped bring something fabulous to a wonderful program. What does that mean to be part of that history forever?
It means the world. Like I remember going on visits when I was a sophomore, and they had like this road to Omaha. I'm like, dang, that's so out there. That's almost like unattainable. And then to go and do it, like not even really without even like thinking about it, just because like we expected to win every game. Like it was like looking back on it, it's like amazing because like while you're in it, we were so at least I was so focused on the next pass, next game, winning every game that after we won that last game, we were like, okay, now what? What do we do now?
Who's next?
Literally. But no, like looking, I've it's really soaked in, like especially like a year out, looking back on it, it's like, dang, we really did that. Like that's really hard to do. Yeah.
It's incredibly hard. It's incredibly hard, and it was a very, very special team and a wonderful season. I will never forget it.
hmm
All right, AJ, what's the number one goal that you have for yourself this season?
I would say to really get that cutter down, like
Yeah,
figure out those pitches and like be able to throw it any count.
yeah. It's a great goal. Hey, man, always looking to get better, always looking to polish that repertoire. I love that about you, AJ. I wanted to thank you again so much for taking the time to be with us today at Prospects Live. But before we go, tell the people at home where they can find you and follow you on social media.
My handle is a.j.causey. So yeah, so they find me on Instagram. I don't think I have any other form of media.
That's cool. Follow him on Instagram. Right there, a.j.causey. You can find him there. And AJ, again, thank you so much, man. I'm always gonna be cheering for you, my brother. And I'm gonna have to mix it up and try this 4 quesadilla tray at Cookout in your honor. I'm gonna have to pull the Causey out. And I wanted to say again, bro, thank you so much for your time joining us. We appreciate you.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And for all of you at home, remember to stay tuned. We've got more interviews, more things coming up with Prospects Live. things just like this. You can start a membership as low as $5 a month, and that's an amazing value, and we'd love to have you. But until next time, remember to be nice to yourself, be nice to each other, and AJ, can we get a GBO before we go?
Go big orange, baby.
Go Big Orange all day long. You heard it here.